dedicated to EDHEC Executive MBA and its 6-month specialization in healthcare innovation and technology, brought to you in partnership with UTC. My name is Nancy. I am the admissions manager for international admissions for this program. So to discuss today's topic, I'm happy to introduce you to our panelists. So today we have Denis Dochy, who is Professor of Strategy at EDHEC. He's also the Director of the Executive MBA and Co-Director of the Executive MBA HIT. Hi, Denis, welcome.
Welcome, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you as a faculty member of EDHEC Business School.
And we also have Vera Steiner, who is one of our graduates. So Vera followed the Executive MBA program and she graduated a few years ago. She now works as Innovation Manager at Huntington Drei in Austria. Welcome, Vera.
Hi, I'm happy to be here with you. Hello.
For today's webinar, we have about 45 minutes together. So I will start with the presentation of the Executive MBA program, give you a few information on the current cohort and also a sneak peek into the curriculum. Then Denise will continue with the focus on the HIT specialization, and finally Vera will give us her feedback of her experience in the Executive MBA. So thank you. I hope you enjoy this webinar, and without further ado, let's begin. So if you are here with us today, if you are watching this webinar, it's probably because you are wondering about MBAs or you are considering applying for an MBA sometime in the near future. You are a professional with several years of work experience, very rewarding, very fulfilling, but maybe limited to a specific field of expertise. And you might wonder, why should I do an MBA? What is the purpose of this Executive MBA? And I would say there are different goals, targets that we're trying to achieve, and different things that you can get out of the Executive MBA. The first thing is that it will help you branch out from something purely operational to something a bit more global. It will allow you to be involved at a different level, at a more strategic level, at a more international level, help you acquire a different mindset, and help you be involved, in different things, maybe in finance, in marketing, management, leadership, but to give you the 360-degree vision of business. At the same time, it's also the opportunity for you to take a step back to reflect on your career so far, on your strengths, on things that you can improve, the opportunity to interact with peers from different sectors, different backgrounds, different countries, different industries, and have a broader skill set. It's also a personal experience. That's the way we see it at EDHEC. So it's an opportunity for you to develop self-awareness, to be more assertive, and help you in your decision-making skills. And it could also be the opportunity for you to prepare the second part of your career. Maybe you are thinking about transitioning, about doing something different. So this Executive MBA could be a good environment for you to prepare this transition. And the way we see it at EDHEC, the key word for us is transformation. Transformation at different levels. As I was saying, it is a professional adventure, professional journey, because you will acquire some skills, some hard skills. You will get the academic foundation, but always, applied to business. So it's not something too abstract, but something that is you can really apply to the business. At the same time, it's also a personal experience, because you will also be able to develop soft skills, such as, peer learning. You will be able to interact with others. You will be able to have one-to-one sessions with the coach. So it's also a personal journey. And the purpose of all of that is for you to have an open mind. So to be able to think differently, to be able to reflect on your methods, on the way you do things, and also give you the ability to interact with the world through the globalization, through the international dimension of the program, and interact with a network. So for your information, we have about 40,000 alumni in the EDHEC community. So you will be able to interact with all of them from day one of the program. Just some key facts about the current cohort. So we have two campuses for the Executive MBA, one in Paris, another one in Lille. It's the same program. The difference is just the format. If you choose to do it in Paris, you will be able to have classes once a month during 4 days in a row during 16 months. And if you choose to do it in Lille, it will be on Fridays and Saturdays every other week during 16 months as well. So regarding the class, how it is actually the current composition of the class, we have about 40% of women and we have 31% of international participants. The current international participants, they come from neighbor countries such as Germany, but also Northern Africa and Northern Europe. We are expecting candidates coming from Egypt, from Germany, from also Saudi Arabia for the next intake. Regarding their background, we tend to have a lot of people coming from an engineering background, so very technical background, and they need to develop also business skills. We have people that are already involved in the business sector and would like to access higher responsibilities or become more involved at a different level. We have also people coming from unusual backgrounds, I would say, for an executive MBA, because the need to develop business skills, even in these sectors, is growing. In terms of data, we have 67 participants. The average age is 39 years old, and the average years of working experience is 14. I forgot to mention also that you have the possibility to ask questions and to send them via the chat box. So if you have anything, any question, at any point of this presentation, feel free to use the chat box on the right side of the screen. And finally, a quick peek about the curriculum. So as I was saying, the total duration of the program is 16 months. Our next intake is going to be in March. And you have then, business fundamentals. So as I was saying, finance, marketing, management, logistics, all these topics. At the same time, you also have this leadership development and career review. So access, to a coach, access to different conferences and events that we organize where you can connect with business executives. And then starting semester 2, you will be able to customize your MBA experience with electives. And if you are interested in the HEAT specialization, that's where you will be able to transition to that part of the program. We also have a consulting project that is the final project. So if you choose the HEAT specialization, it will be healthcare oriented, this project, but then it can be, anything. It can be, working on your business plan. It can be working on a consulting project for, your company or for another one. You have different possibilities for that. In yellow on the screen, you can see the different times where you have increased interactions. I mentioned we have two campuses. So during these events, integration days, business trips, and business game, you will be able to interact with one another. Same during the electives, during the HEAT specialization, during the different modules. So if you want additional information about that, I will be happy to connect later. But now I'm happy to transition and give the floor to Dennis to focus on the HEAT specialization.
Thank you, Nancy, for your very clear and synthetic presentation of the Executive MBA, which is, by the way, the point to highlight that the healthcare innovation and technology, it's a specialization inside this Executive MBA. It's not another Executive MBA. You have to be clear on this point. It will be around 20% of the time which will be dedicated to this specialization. And by the way, at EDHEC, we decided to develop this specialization, because we are considering that healthcare industry is such a great industry. By the way, it's at the core of our life, and it's so important for society at large. We have the perfect illustration nowadays with this pandemic crisis. And by the way, we decided to develop and to set up this specialization before this pandemic. And obviously, we are reinforced in the way we can be useful for people working in healthcare. We are considering that people working in healthcare are people who like to know better, to have a great education, and more and more they are aware that they have to be open-minded, and not only to be in specific expertise, but to have this let's say, business orientation is a good way of formulating this expression. As you know, healthcare activity is around 10% of European GDP, meaning that it's a really important economic activity for in large. And as you know, it's you have more and more different dimension in this industry. I mean, we are at the crossroad between the sanitary phenomenon. We have, for example, as you know, more and more chronic diseases. We have more and more political issues because, as you know, we have a strong regulation in this industry. You have economical challenges. You have more and more new technologies in this industry. So that's why, you know, it's a good opportunity to learn more and to have an open mind on this industry. And for doing this, we have developed a partnership with UTC. UTC, it's an engineering school. It's also a university. And we have a perfect complementarity between EDHEC as a business school and UTC. Maybe you don't know, but UTCs have different specializations connected to the healthcare industry. For example, they have an R&D center in biotech, dedicated to new medical devices, new technologies, and so forth. So we are in a perfect, good complementarity. You have a specific R&D center who is dedicated, for example, on the implication of information technology on the healthcare value chain, healthcare activity. What we want in this specialization is to help people going from, let's say, a specific expertise, could be scientific expertise, could be technological one, could be in another topic, and to be more well-rounded, meaning being in a better ability to go from one function to the other one, and to have this cross-functional view on a specific activity. And moreover, not only to apply the classical rules, but being in this innovation mindset culture, and not to create new rules for doing business. So we will develop a lot of education around innovation management. So the ability to manage innovation, not only considering the scientific or technological innovation, but even more the business model one, for example, on the ability not to launch, for example, new products, but being this ability to put them on the market and to find the right way of doing the business around a new product, for example, whatever, could be a drug or could be a new medical device. So if we flip to the next slide, Nancy. You know, I don't want to be too long, you know, I give you in a nutshell. But if, you know, we will develop mainly, not only, but mainly 4 core modules, topics, and I present them respectively, but being quite synthetic, and I will be obviously available to reply to any question on this. The first one will be on the global healthcare ecosystem. You know, healthcare, more than other activities, has to do with a lot of different players. It could obviously liberal medicine, but could be also hospitals, obviously, big pharma, biotech startups, on other players. Moreover, you have a strong regulation in this activity. Therefore, it's quite sensitive and relevant to be in an ability to map the ecosystem we are working in, and to see what is the right way to interact and to integrate the specificities of this industry. And, as you know, you have a lot of evolution in this activity. You have even new players coming inside, new entrants. Even the GAFA, you know, Google, Amazon, and such companies, they want to have their foot in this industry. So it's quite interesting to share and to have the good, let's say, the good reading, the good ability to see the various evolutions. A second topic will be more dedicated to the innovation and the impact of technology. Whatever the new technology, could be AI, artificial intelligence, could be 3D printing, could be all the digital, the new approaches around the data, for example, could be the fact that more than ever we try to work in a lot of activities as a platform. So even for the launch of new vaccines, for example, you know, it's not only about the product by itself, it has to do with the services around and the ability to do it through a partnership. So it's quite interesting to see what is the new way, what are the new ways for innovation. And by the way, in the third topic, we'll go even deeper on this part, on the ability to design new business model in healthcare industry, not only to design, to create, but also to make the right evolution, to transform business model, and to see what are the relevant value proposition for tomorrow, value proposition for all the partners, could be the doctors, could be the pharmacists, could be the hospitals, could be obviously people by themselves, the patients and so forth. So what are the relevant value proposition for tomorrow, and what is the right way of organizing the processes around those new value propositions for tomorrow. And in this specific industry, you have even a specific, sometimes financial engineering, and you know, biotech have their specific way of managing innovation and managing growth. So it's quite interesting to see what is the right way for managing resources, including obviously financial resources. And the last topic will be more specifically dedicated to the performance management. For example, in hospital, you have the application of a lean management. So what is the specific way of applying such approaches? But it has also to do with the ability to have the right performance management with the right KPI, key performance indicators, and obviously to consider that it's not an activity like other ones. You know, you have, it's not only offering on demand, you have also to integrate obviously regulation, but also the impact on society at large. Healthcare has such an impact on our life, so we have to consider the ability of integrating indicators on the social impact, but obviously to have ethical consideration, and to have this good holistic view, and to be quite systemic in such activity. So a lot of fascinating topics. By the way, I could speak hours on this, but you know, we want to really share on those topics and to help us people who have a background, or not a background, by the way, in this activity, to have the good holistic view, the good business orientation, the good consideration of all the dimension, could be societal dimension, demographical one, and so forth. So in a nutshell, we want to be your partner for going from an expert to already a good person in charge of. So maybe the best way is to share around the real testimonies. That's why it's my pleasure to maybe to let the floor to Vera, and to maybe to have a Q&A between Nancy and Vera.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something, you know, that you highlighted earlier. So this specialization is part of the Executive MBA program. So it is not a different kind of program. It is really part of the Executive MBA program if you choose to do it. That way you can get in your business insight, but at the same time, you will also be able to focus on topics that are specific to the healthcare sector.
Right.
So Vera, now it's your time to give us your feedback. We're really happy to have you here with us today. So maybe you can introduce yourself, tell us a bit more about what you do, and then, you know, I'll get to the questions.
Thank you again. Well, my name is Vera Steiner. I work in the innovation in the new revenue development department of one of the third largest telecommunication companies, corporates in Austria, Hutchison Drei Austria. Hutchison Drei Austria is the telecommunication corporate that belongs to the Hong Kong holding Hutchison. That means that we are not a long-standing company. We have the same telecommunication companies in Europe, but also in Asia, in the UK. If we talk about Europe, then it's UK, Italy, Denmark, Sweden, Ireland. So we have in Austria almost 4 million customers, and it's really the corporate where I was happy to start to work right after I have finished my MBA. Before that job, I was in several senior positions in the small and medium enterprises, but also in completely different sector. I worked in the university sector where I was responsible for the program on entrepreneurship and management. So when I finished MBA, I wanted to transform my career and to change the vector of my job. So my MBA actually enabled me to switch to the business sector and to start with this exciting job in the corporate, where I'm responsible for the product development on fintech and insurtech, and on the implementation of the new telco products in this sector for our consumers and customers.
Okay, and that leads me to my first question, Vera. Thank you for this introduction, by the way. But what motivated you to pursue, to apply for an MBA, or to start, looking for an MBA program when you were working in that SME?
Well, the lack of knowledge. That I have the straightforward answer of this. I understood that I need more know-how and more expertise. I need to know and to understand the management, the modern management techniques. But more than that, I need to understand the strategic part of the business development. I need to understand the innovation part, and etc., etc. And all this knowledge really I got by EDHEC. From Denis, for example, but also from all fantastic professors like Claire Gately that teach us innovation, and she really explained us how you can develop your product or your startup from scratch. And this is the unique knowledge that I didn't have before. So the lack of knowledge, this was my primary motivation.
And how did you find us, actually? Were you already familiar with us? How did you decide that, okay, this is the school and this is the right program for me?
Well, I wanted to make the program parallel to my job. So I looked for the top ranked programs in Europe that I could combine with my job, and I analyzed, of course, and the Financial Times or different other rankings, and so I found you, and for me it was actually the ideal combination. I mean, the structure of your program, of our program, how you offered it to us, was for me the ideal way to combine it with the job and to bring it to the success in pretty short time.
And so what advice would you give to a potential candidate that is looking to apply for our program?
Well, I think that generally the MBA program, each MBA program is something like a toolbox where you have different tools from. It's not only the know-how and knowledge and expertise that I mentioned before, but it also this complete change of the mindset through the collaboration with your colleagues in the MBA, with the professors like Denis, but also through the student visits of different countries, etc., etc. So it will completely change your mindset, and it will lead to different decision making way in your life, and it will help therefore to you to change your career in the way you want to do this. It can be the senior job or the top management job in the line you are pursuing, but it can be the transformation of the career like in my way. And I think the advice I can give you, make use of it, because it's really, and use the time during the MBA, because it's the only time you have. After that, you will be back in your job, and you will be again under water with all the daily routine, etc. So it's really unique time with all these unique people and persons, and it will really change you completely, and it changed me. So use your time and take it as something that is precious and unique, and it's happening with you right now, and enjoy it.
And so you briefly touched on it, but how would you say the program impacted, you personally? Because I mentioned that the MBA is, of course, it's a professional experience, professional journey. So you can expect transformation in your career, but also in you as an individual. What would you say changed after the MBA?
Well, as I said, and I always say it, it's really changing your mindset, and I think that the mindset is something. It's the starting point for each process, and it changed this in the way, I mean, I always think it's about the session or lecture from Dennis, where he explained to us the strategy and zoom in and zoom out principle, and something. It's really what I learned there. I applied it also for my mindset. I developed this global view of the processes, for the business, and this ability to analyze things on the different level. And I would say again the mindset, because this has the impact on all your decision making, and if you have the right mindset, everything will follow. So I think this is the main point.
And so today's focus is on the heat specialization. So you mentioned that your company, Hutchinson Drei, so is very active in innovation, but also is in the healthcare sector in some way. So if you had the chance to do it all over again, or to maybe redo it, would you be interested in that heat specialization?
Yes, definitely. I think I really love what are you doing, and I think it's a great thing, and it's something that is. I mean, I'm now in the private business, and I see how it's happening in almost each company, really, on the daily business level. Each telecommunication company for example, is developing the non-core business sector. That means we are looking for the new revenue development streams outside of our telecommunication business, and these processes are similar not only for Austria, but are similar for almost each European country. And one of the sectors where we are looking for the innovation is e-health, is the health care sector. For example, we launched recently with a startup the service Doctor Recommends Doctors. Within these startups, we are offering to our customers the opportunity to visit the doctor online without via video call without visiting the doctor. And we did it before some big insurance companies presented these solutions, but they did it now for, I mean, a month ago. Somehow I get, yes, they launched it also. They launched it too, and this is a trend. This is the worldwide trend that is happening. The healthcare sector is experiencing now the huge and radical digitization, and each corporate, even if it like us, not in the healthcare itself, is trying to expand its business and add value-added services to its customers in this sector. It's, of course, it's also impacted through COVID, but this is really the best thing that you can do now, and I would definitely do it undoubtedly. It's really a fantastic thing.
Good. Well, thank you, Vera. I'm going to see if we have, some questions. I see that we have a few. There is one question. So, how did you manage to transition from working in a SME to an international company? What was the change like for you? Was it? I guess the question is, how did you adapt, to that change?
Well, I think that persistence and hard work is helpful in each situation. I mean, of course, it was not easy, but through this MBA program, through the EDHEC program that I did at this time, it was for me somehow natural. It was natural to look for the next step in my development in the corporate, and I wouldn't do this if I didn't have my MBA.
Maybe it's a good way for highlighting that an executive MBA is not only to learn new things, it has not only to do with delivering new knowledge, it's even more, it has to do with transformation, as Nancy was saying at the beginning, and this ability to be more, let's say, adaptable, agile, even when you go from one type of a company, for example, a small family company to a big company, but could be vice versa. And we have some executive MBA participants, we were before, let's say, in a managerial position in a classical company, we have decided to start their business up, and the executive MBA is giving you this flexibility and this ability to adapt yourself to new environment in one way.
Definitely. See, we have a question. So this one is for Vera again. As an international participant, how did you manage, funding, and how did you manage to organize all this for the MBA?
I think you have in EDHEC really great support service for us as international candidates, and I remember that I'm thinking now. I remember that I really didn't have any problems. I always could go with my questions to the admission office, and I got a great support. It was possible for me to apply for the grant for the student support, but also I could discuss with the admission office and with the school the mode of the payment mode dependent of my income situation, and it was really great, and it's something that I valued very much, because in fact you were flexible, and it gave me the opportunity to manage the financing primarily from my income. I didn't need to take any additional loan for it. and I think it's fantastic. It's because of your support and your flexibility towards the students, and I think it's great. So I think that each international student could really go for it, and come to you with the questions, with the suggestions for the payment mode, and I think this, you will find the solution.
Thank you. I see that we do not have other questions. So thank you very much, Vera, for being available for this webinar. Thank you also, Dennis, for the great insight into the program and also the HIT specialization. We really appreciate your expertise. And from Vera's feedback, apparently you're a very great teacher. So I guess students can anticipate your class. Thank you all for watching this webinar. So, of course, the whole team remains available. So if you have any questions, if you would like to know more about the Executive MBA program, if you would like to know more about the specialization in healthcare innovation and technology, I personally remain available. And if you would like to connect directly, maybe with me or with Dennis or with Vera, we are available via LinkedIn. So we'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's keep in touch. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.